It's 5 in the morning. It's Day of the Dead. And I have to acknowledge somebody who's dead. Now, I've put this in writing, and I've mentioned it without actually speaking directly to it. I want to know why there is slanderous misrepresentations on the death of Ahmad Abu Zara. I want to know why, for several years, the circumstances surrounding public reportings on his death in English in the United States were intentionally misrepresented. I was in Palestine when the situation that unfolded that led to his death occurred. I met him. He was a very important person at a very important time, and he had a very significant future ahead of him. A significant and very important future ahead of him. Now, when I met him, I was not dressed like this, but the women in his family were. They'd probably be wearing masks right now. I don't wear the mask, personally, but if I were to speak with them, I would show respect. This is a simple thing to do. And I am concerned because the representations of the circumstances surrounding his death that are reported in English in the United States have been inaccurate for several years. My understanding is that Ahmad was covering an issue and he got shot. He got shot in the leg around the hip area. It hit a major vein or artery. He was on the other side of a checkpoint, a temporary checkpoint that had been erected. There was an ambulance behind the checkpoint. He could see the ambulance, and they refused to let him through the checkpoint to get to the ambulance, and he bled to death on the street. There is no point in misrepresenting the facts of the events connected to his death for any sort of opportunistic political or economic reasons. You understand? And this is something that has been very much a part of the ether, and this has been very much a part of whatever else has been going on in the time since it was allowed to be put into the public that the circumstances surrounding his murder were other than they actually were. You understand? Now, it is not my place to speak to distinctions between people from the city or people from the country, people from the mountains versus people from the coast, except to say, I come from a family from the mountains. My father's family comes from a part of the mountains of the lower part of the Appalachian system. My mother was from the city. Somehow they were able to marry, and at the behest of her father, my father went to my mother's father and said he wished to marry my mother. Her father said, if you want to marry my daughter, there are standards you have to meet, and there are options that you can choose from, but you must do one of these if you want to be eligible to marry my daughter. So my father decided to join the Marine Corps. This was one of the requests, or rather demands, that was made of my mother's father, that was made of my father by my mother's father, in order for him to be able to court my mother and to request her hand in marriage. Those were my people. Do you understand? That's where I come from. So whatever your projections or whatever your speculations are, please just cease and desist with them. I need an honest answer. Why has it been allowed to be misrepresented in English language media, at least for the last 4 years, that the circumstances surrounding the death of Ahmad Abu Zara are different than they actually were? Thank you very much. Have a good day.